You are about to eat this. Your body cannot classify it correctly. 37 ingredients are on the label. 7 of those are industrial chemicals. Your great-grandmother never heard those names. 3 ingredients are just different sugars. Each sugar has a different name. Hidden inside, it was once corn. In there somewhere, something was corn. We call this a modern snack. 780,000 years ago, a human foraged. They caught a fish near water. They held it over the fire. That was the entire cooking recipe. What happened between is the story, the strangest story in human history. And it all started with darkness. Darkness fell every single night relentlessly, for thousands upon thousands of years. Darkness was the most dangerous moment. Predators moved freely in the dark. Early humans simply could not compete. So humans did what animals do. They stayed close to something warm. Fire was never invented by humans. Humans discovered it already burning freely. Lightning struck a tree somewhere distant. Early hominids moved closer to watch. They learned fire could be kept. Someone eventually placed food on it. This happened 780,000 years ago exactly. Archaeologists found ancient fish teeth there. The crystals inside those teeth changed. Only deliberate heat creates those patterns. Someone had deliberately cooked that fish. Before fire, everything was eaten raw. Raw meat, raw roots, raw everything. Your jaw worked constantly all day. Your gut struggled to extract anything. Half their waking hours were chewing. Cooking completely changed all of that. Cooked food releases far more energy. It is softer, safer, and easier. The extra calories fed one organ. They went directly to the brain. Our skulls expanded over many generations. Our jaws got smaller in return. Cooking literally rewired the human body. But fire was deeply unpredictable always. You could not grow the fire. You could not store fire away. Every meal depended on finding prey, and on a still-burning fire afterward. This was survival, not actual cuisine. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans ate whatever they could find. Roots, berries, insects, animals, anything available. There was no food preference then. There was only urgency and hunger. Then something important shifted around Earth. Around 12,000 years ago, everything warmed. The climate slowly and steadily changed. Plants started growing in predictable patterns. Some group of humans noticed something. We don't know who they were. They left a seed in ground. It came back the next season. That observation sounds obvious to us. But then, it was not obvious. It was the most consequential observation, the most important in human history. Before agriculture, 5 million humans existed. After agriculture, the number never stopped. Today, there are 8 billion humans. That ratio is not a coincidence. First crops were wheat, barley, lentils. They appeared in the Fertile Crescent. Rice emerged independently in ancient China. Maize took root in ancient Mexico. Millet spread across the African continent. On every continent, humans reached consensus. Stop chasing food across the land. Stay in one place and grow. This single shift changed absolutely everything. You cannot move a field seasonally. So humans stopped following their food. Villages began appearing across the land. Towns grew slowly from those villages. Cities emerged slowly from those towns. Then something else entirely came next. With stored food, not everyone farmed. Some people could now fully specialize. Metalworkers who made tools and weapons. Priests who managed temples and rituals. Merchants who moved goods across distances. Soldiers who protected the surplus food. Civilization is not built on philosophy, not on religion or ambition alone. It is built on surplus food. Every great empire ran on agriculture. Egypt ran entirely on grain surplus. Rome fed armies on African grain. China built dynasties on rice cultivation. Food. Supply was never just food. It became a form of power. Once food was power, wars happened. Not over grain and livestock alone. Over everything elevating food above survival. For millennia, spices were pure currency. Black pepper was called black gold. A saffron bag was worth gold. Literally its exact weight in gold. Cinnamon in Egyptian tombs, 2000 BCE. That cinnamon came from Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka. 6,000 kilometers from Egypt. Traders crossed entire deserts for seeds. They sailed unknown oceans for bark. It was a vast spice highway. Markups reached 3,000% from origin. Some spices cost more than houses. Columbus was not seeking new land. He wanted a cheaper route: pepper. The modern world map was redrawn, all of it because of flavor. Countries controlling spice routes became empires. Countries cut off from them collapsed. Flavor changed the entire world map. Flavor only matters if food survives. For most of history, food rotted. This was not a minor inconvenience. This was a massive survival problem. Rotten meat killed faster than weapons, so humans obsessed over preservation methods. Salt pulled moisture out of food. Smoke coated surfaces with antimicrobial compounds. Fermentation let safe bacteria win out. Drying removed all water bacteria needs. These were not just cooking techniques. These were systems keeping people alive. Roman soldiers were sometimes paid salt. The word salary comes from salt. Salarium, Latin for payment in salt. Your paycheck has ancient salt origins. You buy salt for pennies today. Preservation also created something unexpected: culture. Cheese is milk that outlasted cows. Wine is grapes that survived harvest. Beer is grain that traveled continents. Soy sauce is fermented soybean identity. Kimchi and sauerkraut, accidents of preservation. Each accident became a cultural identity. Every culture's food solved one problem: how do we make this last? For millennia, cooking was deeply personal. You knew who grew your food. You knew exactly where food originated. Often, you had grown it yourself. Then came the machine, changing everything. The Industrial Revolution transformed food permanently. By the 1800s, machines milled flour. No human hand could match that. Railroads moved food hundreds of miles. Before it spoiled, before it rotted. Nicholas Appert boiled food in glass. It survived months inside sealed containers. Canning was born from that discovery. Louis Pasteur proved heat kills bacteria. Pasteurization made food dramatically safer everywhere. Food could now travel much farther. This was genuinely miraculous in scale. Malnutrition had killed millions throughout history. Food preservation saved millions upon millions. But something else was also happening. Food stopped being something you made. It became something you simply bought. Branded packaged cereals. The 1890s happened. Mass-produced soft drinks launched in 1880s. Industrial fats arrived at century's turn. A new food category was born. By the 1950s, something new arrived: full meals frozen solid in trays. Heat them up and eat immediately. This was not peacetime consumer innovation. The military created it during wartime. Consumers then simply inherited the technology. Military needed food for extreme conditions. Food lasting months in the field. Scientists solved that specific problem perfectly. After war, those scientists pivoted sharply. They moved into consumer food markets. Freeze-drying became a new industry standard. Chemical preservatives extended shelf life enormously. Dehydration made entire meals compactly stable. Flavor engineering made it all appealing. Wartime inventions became your grocery store. The food industry made one discovery: the human appetite can be engineered. Engineered specifically against its own self. There is a precise ratio formula: salt, sugar, and fat in combination. That combination bypasses your stop signal, the signal that says you're full. Scientists named it the bliss point. Your body evolved with biological limits. Evolution built those limits deeply inside. Ultra-processed food overrides those limits completely. Today, most American food is ultra-processed. 60% of adult calories, ultra-processed products. For American children, that reaches 70%. Researchers then studied the Hadza people. They are last hunter-gatherers on Earth. The Hadza gut has 730 species of microbe per person. The American gut has only 277. We didn't just change our diet, we changed what lives inside us. And nobody saw this part coming. The more convenient food became available. Humans grew more and more disconnected. In 1900, food cost 40%. Today, food costs closer to 10%. Food became cheaper than ever before, more abundant than at any point. Simultaneously, Diet disease became a killer. Heart disease rose with processed food. Type 2 diabetes appeared almost everywhere, in populations where it was unknown. Obesity became the new normal everywhere. These conditions barely existed before processing. They exploded when processed food arrived. One large study tracked ultra-processed consumption. Every 10% increase showed one finding: a 14% rise in all-cause mortality. Another found 50% more cardiovascular deaths. Among the highest ultra-processed food consumers, we solved the ancient scarcity problem. We replaced it with wrong abundance. Now the industry enters science fiction. Scientists extract stem cells from cows. Those cells go inside a bioreactor. Nutrients carefully feed the growing cells. The cells multiply into actual tissue. Meat grows without an animal dying. By 2025, 3D bioprinting reached this. Cultivated meat indistinguishable from real cuts. Italy banned lab-grown food by law. The FDA approved lab-grown chicken commercially. Countries now fight over food definitions. What does it even mean? Food. This is the oldest human argument. Historically, food simply meant staying alive. Then it meant tasting good too. Then it meant fast and convenient. Anything manufactured to satisfy all three. But the trajectory does not stop. Companies engineer food for your gut, targeting your specific microbiome composition daily. Personalized nutrition calibrated to your DNA. It is in development right now. Meals designed not just to fill, designed to biologically optimize your system. The logical endpoint is genuinely strange. Eating is no longer recognizably human. Food becomes a pharmaceutical delivery event. One optimized substance with no flavor, no texture, no teeth, no ritual, no meal requiring time or preparation, no table, no family, no gathering, no ritual, no culture, no memory, just the biological inputs you require. That future sounds extreme and distant, but consider what exists right now. Someone eating alone in their car, staring at a phone, entirely alone. An engineered snack built for palatability. That is not different from fuel. We once sat around open fire, sharing meat, rebuilding the human brain, meal by meal, over generations together. Now, we eat alone in darkness, from a bag, on a screen. More industrial chemistry than actual medicine. The question is not about evolution. Food has clearly and visibly evolved. Maybe evolution came too fast here, whether this is progress or not. Would our ancestors recognize our food? The ones who stood over fire, who first held something over flame, and thought, this changes everything now. It changed everything forever, without question. We have not stopped changing it. The next stage is already running, whether progress or something else entirely. It is still up to us.